Hi, you're listening to Childless and Moving Onward. This is the place where we talk about thriving in life when you're a woman who is childless, not by choice, regardless of the road that brought you to childlessness. Hi, thanks for joining me for episode 78 of Childless and Moving Onward. I'm Gail Miller, your host, speaker, life coach, physician, and someone who is childless by circumstance and not by choice. I leave that for last because it's not how I define myself. While this is a significant part of my life, it's not the whole of who I am. That doesn't mean that I don't have days when I feel sad, go through hard times, or have old wounds come back. I do. But this podcast is about recognizing those experiences, navigating, living well with them. And my hope is that though the pain of childlessness may always be with you, this podcast will show you how that pain no longer has to dictate how you live your life. Today, we're stepping into a season that I personally love, fall. I love it when the air is cool and crisp. I also happen to love pumpkin spice, though honestly, I wouldn't want it all year long. When it's a limited supply, limited time, mostly to just this season, it's something special and something that I do enjoy. I do know that not everyone loves the pumpkin spice stuff, and I do know that not everyone loves or even likes this season. Many of you dread it. Because when you're childless, not by choice, the season that is considered magical and can also feel like a minefield. Family photo shoots and pumpkin patches. Can't even walk into a drugstore without being bombarded with all things Halloween. And social media feeds are filled with endless posts of babies dressed as pumpkins. Can you say, Happy Halloween? For many of you, it may feel like there's nothing to be happy about. So today, let's talk about it and how to survive and maybe even thrive this Halloween season when the grief of childlessness is still very much part of your story and gets highlighted at this time of the year. So here's the thing. Fall can be cozy and nostalgic, but it's also loaded with kid-centric traditions. Everywhere you look, cute costumes, the trick-or-treaters to come, apple orchards that are filled with stroller traffic jams, and birth announcements that are at their baseline painful and now also wrapped in pumpkin patch vibes. For many of you, it feels like this season is for everybody but you. And that hurts, even if you're also happy for the people you care about. Scrolling social media is even more painful. The beautiful fall-themed posts are yet another reminder of what you don't have because they're kid-centric fall-themed posts. If you've ever felt that pang, that ache while scrolling, you are absolutely not alone. It's normal. Your grief is real. And it deserves some space alongside the cinnamon, the hot chai, the pumpkin lattes, and the scarves. Here's the thing. The holiday isn't the problem. Social media is the real villain here. It's filled with never-ending reels of cute kids in costumes, of happy families all dressed up in themes, and all looking like they have perfect lives. It can feel like it's the world's longest baby shower just by opening a social media app. But You know those posts that people disagree with and they write nasty comments on, and inevitably somebody will comment in the response that, you don't have to be mean. If you don't like it, just scroll by. And frankly, that's what I would suggest as well. This is a really good season to practice scrolling on by. The cute babies dressed up as pumpkins, scroll by. The stories about costume plans, again, scroll by. But even better than scrolling by is to use the option to mute or snooze someone. Did you know you can stay friends with somebody on Facebook but unfollow them so you don't have to see the posts, or snooze them for 30-day periods? Unfollow somebody on Instagram, even if it's temporary. It will give you some breathing room. Give yourself a break so that you can see the posts that you enjoy and can be potentially helpful for you instead of the ones that cause pain. For me, finding even a little hint of humor and adding that to boundaries, for me, that means taking care of myself. Find those pages focused on humor and like or follow them. If positive affirmations are your thing, then find those pages. Find pages and groups that are about a hobby you enjoy or a state of mind that you enjoy. Again, for me, I like the humorous pages, but someone else may enjoy a religious page or, again, positive affirmations. But find the places where posts are generally about that hobby or that state of mind and the community of people who enjoy it. Do what you need in order to stay away from the pain and instead nourish yourself. Now, all of this can leave you feeling, but what about me? As if you're missing out on something if you totally omit anything about the season. Instead, what about reclaiming it? How about making it about you and what you need? Here's a news flash. While this season has become kid-centric, Halloween is not just for kids. So make your own traditions. Host a grown-up spooky night with friends. Scary movies, too much wine, too much chocolate, too much junk food. And to be totally honest, the expensive chocolate nobody shares with kids. Make that the theme of your adult-only spooky night. For me, I love changing up our home with the seasons. So I have all sorts of knickknacks. They don't have to be expensive, and they're not. I often get them at drugstores. And they're packaged up based on the season. So I love bringing out the fall decorations. And then what that meant for me was turning into enjoying Halloween decorations because I view them differently now. Like I said, I love to switch up, the living room, the kitchen. I get bored, honestly, with the same decorations. So for me, I turned that love of mixing things up in our home, I turned that into, okay, Halloween can be a fun time because I love these decorations, but they also don't have to be specifically Halloween, fall themed. But it's part of me always finding new knickknacks and switching things up. And I don't see the decorations as being kid-centric now because I love how our living room looks when I make the fall changes. Do you love the outdoors? You don't have to be a mom to go hiking. Start a fall hiking ritual. Go deep into the woods where you won't bump into matching family outfits. And pumpkins aren't just for kids. Make your own adult pumpkin carving night with absolute freedom to carve out the snarkiest jack-o'-lantern that you want. And then you have the bonus, if you like pumpkin seeds, you have the bonus of those pumpkin seeds that you can roast with any flavor you choose. Doesn't have to be chai. Doesn't have to be pumpkin spice. The point of all of this is that fall can still belong to you. Traditions don't have to hinge on having kids. Yes, we would love that. That's not going to happen. Now's the time to look at ways to make fall a decent season for you. So those traditions while we want them to be about kids, they don't have to be. It may not be the same. It probably won't be the same as what you envisioned. But different traditions can be equally enjoyable. They can be about creating joy in a way that celebrates the life that you do have. Now, I realize pumpkin spice gets joked about a lot, but for those of us who love it, or in my case, I love it in small quantities, we don't have to let being childless ruin this delicious treat and smell. Instead, fully enjoy your overpriced pumpkin spice moment. And that's kind of empowering, reminding yourself that you're allowed to claim joy without any apology. Self-care may sound simplistic and like a buzzword, but in reality, in seasons like this, it is survival. Self-care is more than a bubble bath, though it certainly can be part of your self-care. But real self-care is setting boundaries and just giving yourself permission to say no. No to that invite, whether it's a baby shower, family dinner, work get-together, or maybe it's a friend who's inviting you to go trick-or-treating with their kids, and that doesn't feel right to you. Say no if it's going to drain your energy, if it's going to add unnecessary stress, or simply doesn't feel right for you in this moment. Say no to trick-or-treating with your sister's kids or your friend's kids if that tears you up. The other part of setting boundaries and saying no is to replace the no with something nourishing for you. Maybe it's a night of binging Netflix or lighting a candle that smells like cinnamon heaven. Maybe it's sleeping in or just letting yourself curl up with a book without guilt. Maybe it is going for a hike. Self-care isn't about pretending you're not grieving. It's about making room for both peace and pleasure in your own way, even alongside the heartache. One of the most unfortunate parts of childlessness is feeling like a misfit in a world that believes only motherhood matters. But you're not alone. There are communities of people online and support groups, or even just one trusted friend who understand exactly where you're at. And those connections matter. Finding your people makes the season so much lighter. I have a free support group that you can join. There are others as well, but there's info about mine in the show notes. Again, there's many different support group options. So yes, I am going to talk about gratitude, but I'm going to be real and realistic about it. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring the pain. It's about appreciating small wins, like sleeping in on a Saturday guilt-free, or that moment when the sunlight hits fall leaves just perfectly and the leaf colors shine so brightly. It's like a little rainbow. on the leaves. These little sparks don't erase grief, but they can help you keep going. And that is what I want you to take away from this and carry with you into this fall. You are more resilient than you think. This season isn't only about the traditional view of families and little pumpkins. It can be about creating your own traditions, practicing regular self-care, and finding joy in the small things. Grief and joy can coexist. You can miss the life you dreamed of and still find magic in a pumpkin spice latte and a cozy sweater. So let's make this Halloween season one where you don't measure yourself against others' highlight reels. Instead, work to make peace with where you are. Reclaim what brings you joy and know that this season can belong to you too. All right, that is it for this week. I will be back with you next week. I appreciate you listening. If you liked this episode, help get the word out to others who are looking for this same help by giving it a 5-star rating, and please take 2 minutes to leave a meaningful review. It's easy to do. Just scroll down to the ratings and review section and tap on the stars to rate the show and tap on write a review. I greatly appreciate it, and you'll be helping others out too. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.